Thank you. As I walked out of my chair, I realized my heart is pumping fast. So hopefully it's gonna be all right. So, thanks. So first of all, I would like to thank LCC community for contribution to my life, and thank you for the opportunity to give me share my stories with you. I came to LCC about 4 years ago, and before coming here, when we were on the planning stage, I didn't have financial capabilities to come here. So my mother took a challenge with me that she would pray, and so that God would help me with finances. And I said, it's never gonna happen. So we were kind of in a 1 month of challenge, and after a few months, I heard from one of my friends of my father, who actually knowing my story wanted to financially help me. And then I told my mom, oh, it works, okay. So I have been here, although I grew up in a Christian family, I practiced Christian values, and I was known as a good Christian in my community. When I came here, I started to explore different worldviews and different way of explaining how things work, how the universe works, and I started to question even if God exists at all. So I started my exploration, and it was really broad. I would listen to science, philosophy, and many other things. And what in turn it did to me, I realized later that it would lead me away from God, and it would create a vacuum inside of me, and there was an existential crisis in my life. Although I realized I had a problem in me, I couldn't pinpoint what was the main problem happening, because outside I was happy, but inside I was feeling like I'm this tiny little creature alone in this universe. So this continued for 2 years after I came to LCC, and last summer I was working in the States, and I was also having one of the spiritually crisis time in my life, and I was feeling life was truly meaningless. And I got an opportunity to visit my friend who actually financially supporting me currently, and we met in Indiana. And I went there, and it was an evening, and he welcomed me so well. We had a dinner, and he made water for me. I was a very respected guest. I felt so much peace inside that I haven't felt for 2 years. I was far away from my family, friends, and I didn't feel that affection. On that night, we went to a place called Swiss Heritage, which represents Swiss cultural buildings and relics that were about 200 years ago. And right after we came out of Apple Cider Press building, which is amazing engineering work that helps to create apple cider, we sat in a car, and rain started to pour down. And my friend started to share the story how actually Anabaptist people came from Switzerland to that Indiana and then expanded, and he happens to be one of the lineage of that community. And he told that those people actually took Bible practically. They practiced Bible in their life practically. They loved their enemies. They were kind and generous people. And as he was telling those stories that people sacrificed their life because whatever they believed in, and something clicked in my mind that just because God blessed and spoke in those people's heart 200 years ago, and they spread throughout the world, that's the reason I'm blessed today. And because of that work of God, I'm blessed, and I'm sitting with this kind person who changed my life. And when I realized it, I kind of felt a sense of peace and love and compassion in me. And I had all those questions, but at that moment it didn't matter whether God existed, whether life has meaning or not, because the deep sense of existence, meaning and love was inside me. And I was feeling that how God works through community, and He helps other people through the community. And before I finish, I just want to end with saying this, that later on in my life, all those questions actually helped me to bring to God, because I explored a little bit of cosmology, philosophy, and a little bit of everything, and I realized that I'm just a very little tiny bit of creature in the vast expanse of the universe. And a few weeks ago I was lying on the Melrage Sea and on the evening night, and I looked at the stars and I saw that there are millions of stars like suns that we have right now, and it's just a huge expanse. And knowing that somebody cares about me who created all these things is enough for me to know all the questions that I had, and I feel a part of this whole creation, so I feel unique, and I think that all those questions that I have actually contributed rather than destroying my life, and I'm happy to be able to share my stories with you as well. Thank you very much.